Well, hello students, and welcome to this introductory video for personal finance. I'm Mr. Kinsick, and I will be your teacher for personal finance. I know some of you I have in social studies, but some of you, this is the first time I've had you in class. So I wanted to create this video just talking about some of the key parts of personal finance. Really kind of what personal finance is and just how the class is laid out. So this is going to be kind of the first thing. I know some of you I don't see until tomorrow, but I wanted you to watch this video just so you had a heads up of how class would work. So one of the first things you'll notice about my class is that there's flexible seating. I have some yoga balls that you can sit in. I have stools. I have just some regular hardback chairs as well that are at tables. So you'll get a choice of where you sit. Same thing as far as sanitizing desks and sanitizing those seats. That still happens every period. I just ask that once you choose something to sit in, that you kind of stick with that for the class period, because if you're touching and changing back and forth with stuff, it becomes, I have to sanitize all those different things. So I like this. So a lot of money was put in by people in the community to support flexible seating. I know some other teachers in our building have done the same thing. So it's a privilege. You got to treat those things with respect. I do have some rolling stools, but they are, you can actually see them in the picture here, they have been kind of defective. So I'm not going to let students sit in those this 9 weeks. I'm actually going to switch those into stationary stools. I've got some things I'm going to apply to those to make them work that way. But so you have a choice where you sit. You will be sitting in alphabetical order, and assigned seats, and the desks are fairly far apart. I only actually have 4 desks in my room, and those are fine to sit in too. But I think probably for the start of the 9 weeks, we'll probably try to avoid using the desks and just use tables with one person at a table. We'll just have to see how many I have in my numbers once I create my seating chart. So I haven't really talked about what personal finance is, but I guess we can go through this first. Do the right thing, treat people right, keep your masks on, have all your materials that you need, charge Chromebook, pencil. Having paper with you is kind of key too. You're going to be carrying your stuff from class to class, so make sure you bring that stuff. I know your phone will be with you. I actually may have you take out your phone one of the first days, and I'm going to set up remind alerts. So whenever I give out key work, I usually send out remind messages once a week or so, just to kind of keep you in the loop of what's going on. So I don't really spend a whole lot of time going over procedures. At this point, as 7th graders, you should know kind of how to act in class. You don't have to raise your hand to sharpen your pencil or get a Kleenex or something like that. But certain things, obviously, you're going to need to, ask before you do it. Like, if you need to go to the nurse or something, you need to let me know what's going on. So no huge rules there. Just do the right thing, treat people right. So we've got to change this 9 weeks. I can move this so you can read that a little bit better. I should be seeing you kind of every other day. So kind of how that's going to work is I use EdPuzzle videos quite a bit in both my social studies class and in personal finance. So that's going to be a lot of what you do outside of class. You're going to have to watch a personal finance video in EdPuzzle. It cannot be fast forwarded. It may have embedded questions sometimes it won't. It just kind of depends on what I'm trying to teach you. You will get a score for completing that with 100%, and if there are questions embedded, getting those questions right. You watch 30% of the video, I'm not going to count that. Probably won't give you any points at all. If you watch 80% of it, I might give you a few points, but this is the instruction. During class, I'm not going to do a whole lot of note taking and things like that, so the video is going to kind of prep you for what we're doing in class. And then in class, we'll do activities that kind of support that. So we're going to talk about lots of key parts of personal finance. Personal finance is really how people interact with money, which, you might say, well, I don't really have a lot of money. Well, but one day you're going to have a job and you're going to have a paycheck. And so knowing how taxes operate and knowing how you should save and how you can borrow money and how you can use a credit card. These are the things that this class talks about, which is like very practical stuff. That's why I think this class is super necessary. I've heard some parents say in the past, like, why are they taking personal finance? But then I've heard others say, like, that's such a great class that they're taking this. No, this was never offered. I mean, when I was in 7th grade, we didn't have personal finance. So it is a really, really key class. But you're going to need to watch those videos. And then in class, we're going to do things like learning how to write a check and balance a checkbook. We will do even some budgeting activities and talk about that. We will research like the cost of college, how much it costs. We'll talk about the difference between paying cash for a car or getting a loan, and like how much more something can cost because you're borrowing money and you have to pay back interest. So a lot of practical stuff in this class. It's one of my favorite classes to teach just because I feel like it is such necessary stuff. And then once we kind of finish a section of whether it's on taxes or saving for your future, you're going to have a module in EverFi. And EverFi is this online platform. It's kind of fairly self-paced. It talks to you and tells you some stuff. There's some drag and drop kind of features, and that's kind of usually like the assessment piece. So instead of giving you like a chapter test, I've done tests in the past for personal finance, but this year being such a kind of an interesting year, I kind of did away with the tests. And have kind of gone this direction. You'll get plenty of grades, and really, completing the module and showing me that you can get 70% of it right, you get 100%. So I'll talk about that in a moment here. But the modules will be completed sometimes maybe in class, but sometimes out of class. It really depends on what this 9 weeks ends up looking like. I mean, right now I'm going to see you for 40 minutes or so. That may be enough time to just finish a module, but as far as me giving you instruction or doing other activities, like the module is going to take most of that time. So I might have you start a module in class and then finish it at home. It really just kind of depends, but the modules are not one of those things that are like flexible. And I know some of you have done these modules before. If you move fairly quickly through them, there is a possibility I can give you some alternative work. But I would like for you to go back through these because they're going to align with what I'm teaching in each section. So moving on to the next thing here. Class times, I teach 2 periods of personal finance, 4th period and 8th period. So the timing, I mean, you're obviously going to be here. For those of you that are e-learning, so the day that you're at home, I usually will post work by 7 a.m. Sometimes I even post it the night before if you want to start on it early. You don't have to work on my work during the actual class time. There's no like synchronous thing where you have to like tune in to me broadcasting live in class. You'll have those EdPuzzle videos. It just needs to really be completed that when it's assigned, it's done the next time you come to class. Because if not, then you're falling behind where we're at, and I feel like that's the trend that I've noticed with students that are not doing well in class. It's that they're not doing the work outside of class. They're not doing, and it's not a lot. Like my videos are going to be 10 minutes in length, maybe 15. They shouldn't be terribly long, so it should be enough to be able to get through those during the class period. So this is kind of what EverFi looks like when you log in, and I will work on getting those set up in the next few days. And so, like I said, there are 7 modules that are here for this first 9 weeks. This is called Future Smart. And then next 9 weeks, we do something called Venture, which there's 4 modules for that. And that's surrounding entrepreneurship, which is basically starting a business. Because a lot of the stuff that we deal with in our own finances, like how to save, when do we borrow, saving for big purchases, that kind of stuff, those are the same kind of things that a person that has a business has to think about how they're interacting with money. It's often a little bit more complicated. So you're going to get a chance to go through some of the modules that are kind of like focused on that. So over the course of the semester, you'll complete 11 modules. So it's not even going to be really 1 a week, since I'll have you for 18 total weeks. But there will be kind of due dates for each one of these. And then once we're through all of it, it's kind of done at that point. And what I've usually done is I've made each of these worth 10 points. So if you score 70% or higher, get the whole module done, and then pass the post-test, you get a full 10 points. So this will be worth 70 points this 9 weeks. That's kind of how I've graded it in the past. And then you'll have a bunch of other grades for the EdPuzzle videos and things like that. So here's kind of what I've already kind of mentioned. So I don't give tests. Grades are, this is a mixture of EdPuzzle scores, in-class activities, and the completion of modules with a score over 70%. I will count off for late work. So if you're being slow to get EdPuzzle videos done, I usually take off 10%. So if you get the whole video done and get all the questions right, but you turn it in a week late, then most likely it's going to be 10% off. I might take off more than 10% if it's really, really late. It just really needs to be done kind of on time. That, like I said, has been the big thing that I've noticed in the year of 2020, 2021, is that students are just not working on things outside of class. So stay on top of it. You're going to get a grade in this class, and I really feel like this information is really important. So I want you to stay kind of focused on that. We will use, first semester, I was trying to try out a different curriculum, and we will use kind of components of that, but we're going to kind of follow the EverFi schedule, I think, in how we approach and go through information. And the last thing I wanted to mention is that we do have a student teacher this 9 weeks. His name is Mr. Parker. And so in the next few weeks, he will kind of begin to take over. And personal finance will probably be one of the first classes I kind of turn over to him. He will be here most of the semester. But I think it will be a good experience for him and for you. So I think that really will do it kind of for this video. Just kind of an introduction. We will start kind of like some of the key work next time I see you in class. So thanks for watching, and I will see you soon. Thanks.